A man in a black turtleneck walks onto a stage. He says almost nothing. No fireworks, no slogans, no script. He simply holds up a small piece of glass, and the world gasps. That moment, the launch of the iPhone in 2007, wasn't just marketing, it was alchemy. Because when Steve Jobs spoke, people didn't just listen, they believed. He could convince engineers to do the impossible, designers to chase perfection, and millions of strangers to line up overnight for something they'd never touched. They called it the reality distortion field, a force that bent logic, twisted doubt, and turned imagination into fact. Steve Jobs was born in 1955 and adopted by a working-class couple in California. He grew up surrounded by garages, gadgets, and dreams of space. As a teenager, he was part mystic, part misfit, a barefoot rebel reading Zen books while tinkering with circuit boards. He dropped out of college, traveled to India, searched for meaning, and found clarity. Technology could be spiritual, a bridge between logic and art. When he returned to Silicon Valley, he met Steve Wozniak, the engineer to his visionary. Together, they built a computer in a garage. They called it Apple. Jobs didn't write code or build circuits. He built conviction. He told Woz, "The Apple II became a phenomenon. It was colorful, personal, and human. In a world of gray machines, it had personality. Investors flooded in. Apple went public. Jobs was a millionaire at 25. In 1985, Apple was a battlefield. Jobs clashed with his board, his CEO, and reality itself. He was brilliant, but unbearable. He was fired from the company he built. For most people, that would have been the end. For Jobs, it was a new beginning. He founded Next, a computer company so advanced it was almost too early for its time. And he bought a small graphics studio called Pixar. While Apple struggled without him, Jobs quietly transformed Pixar into a storytelling revolution. Toy Story became the first fully animated feature film and won an Oscar. He had been exiled from his kingdom, but he was still bending reality from afar. But success only fueled his obsession with perfection. He micromanaged everything, from fonts to box designs. He walked around the office barefoot, demanding the impossible. Employees whispered about his reality distortion field, his ability to make people believe they could do what they knew they couldn't. One engineer said, "You'd tell him something was impossible, and by the end of the meeting, you believed you could do it." Jobs wasn't a manager, he was a magnet, and sometimes magnets burn. By 1997, Apple was dying. Sales were falling, morale was gone. Then in walked Steve Jobs, black turtleneck, jeans, in the calm of a monk who'd already seen the future. He simplified everything. 4 products, 1 vision, 0 compromise. He once said, "We're not here to make a profit, we're here to make a difference." And somehow, through sheer will, Apple rose again. The iMac, the iPod, then the iPhone. Each one not just a product, a statement. Technology could be beautiful, personal, emotional. Jobs was back, and this time, his reality distortion field was global. To understand Jobs, you have to understand his faith in belief itself. He didn't sell computers. He sold the feeling of believing. He turned product launches into rituals. Dark stage, single light, silence. Then one line. One more thing, and the crowd erupted. He knew design was not how things looked. It was how they felt. He once told his team, "People don't know what they want until you show it to them." Some called it arrogance, others called it vision. But for Jobs, the truth was simple. Reality was malleable. If you believed hard enough, you could reshape it. Behind the magic was madness. He was ruthless with employees, firing people in elevators, publicly humiliating those who didn't meet his standards. He craved purity, in design, in focus, in purpose. Even the inside of a computer had to be beautiful, though no customer would ever see it. He lived minimalism like a religion. His home was almost empty. His diet bordered on obsession. He was not kind, but he was clear, and clarity can be cruel. In 2003, he was diagnosed with cancer. He refused surgery, trying fruit diets and meditation instead. For the first time, his reality distortion field failed him. He could bend markets, media, and minds, but not biology. When he finally accepted treatment, it was too late. He kept working through pain, presenting new devices while his body deteriorated. In 2011, he stood on stage for the last time, thin, quiet, glowing still with that impossible intensity. He once said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make big choices in life." Steve Jobs died on October 5th, 2011. But his distortion field didn't die with him. It lives in every product launch, every startup pitch, every entrepreneur who believes vision can defy gravity. He taught a generation that technology isn't about machines. It's about belief. That reality is just the starting point. He once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And maybe that's what the reality distortion field really was. Not a trick, not manipulation, but the refusal to accept the limits of what's possible. Today, when you swipe a screen or unlock a phone, you're touching his legacy. Simplicity, focus, faith in the idea that design can move souls. Steve Jobs didn't just build devices, he built conviction. And somewhere, beyond the marketing, beyond the hype, his voice still whispers through the circuitry of our lives. Reality isn't fixed, it's crafted.